Welcome to the Inspired Disorder Podcast. Red Bull podcasts inspired by life, love, stress, and setbacks. With your hosts Ray Taylor and Justin King. Disorder starts now.
And we are also joined by tonight Vicky Pezza. Vicky, how are you doing tonight?
What is
Hi.
up?
What is up? The ceiling is up and keeping the rain from falling on my head. It's not even raining now. See, that's
this is just too crazy. This just got too crazy already.
Sorry.
No,
I apologize. I took my meds. I took my meds. I shouldn't be crazy for at least another half hour. So
thanks so much for having me on, guys. The Inspired Disorder Podcast. This is a really awesome thing you guys are doing with your collective and all the people involved. It's like really cool, and thank you for thinking of me. Just want to say that.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, and we love what you're doing with the Naughty Show and all of the things you're doing, and we're going to be talking a lot about that because nobody seems to know anything about you.
Oh, good, I'm a mystery.
Yeah, you're a mystery. Well, until now.
Break it wide open tonight, live.
That's right. TMZ is going to pick this up and run wild with it, and that's why we don't have live video of everybody.
Awesome.
Just in case. So, Vicky, why don't you tell... Well, so for anybody that happens to be watching this that has no idea who Vicky Pezza is, first, you have a lot of homework to do, just in general, if you're listening to this show. But where I discovered myself, I don't know about Sam Tripoli, but I discovered Vicky Pezza on the Naughty Show. So whether he discovered you before that or not, I don't have a gauge as far as that goes. Which I had no idea. When I came home, I was looking for pictures to put up of you, and I just ended up using your Twitter picture. But I also came across, I did not know, or I had forgotten anyway, that you were actually a guest on the Naughty Show, like early on, back in Brian's old closet.
Episode 36.
Yeah.
I know, because I look through these fucking episodes so much for different things that I keep having to do, so yeah. I have a pretty good handle on the eps. I was definitely 36, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, because I was like, I remember watching that and, like, totally forgetting, and then, like, you showed up later.
Right.
But that's actually one of the questions that we got from Perfect Ugly, at Perfect Ugly, on Twitter. He actually wanted to know, which I'm sure many people would like to know, how did you get, like, hooked up with all the Death Squad people, Sam and all, and also, the Cuddlas and all that stuff?
That's so awesome. Like, I was wondering, like, do these two worlds know about each other? Because, like, Cuddla Army retweets a ton of shit, so I'm like, there must be a lot of crossover by now. And I know Postal Poet, like, listen. Well, okay, here's what started. All right. Okay. There was a podcast called, and there is a podcast called Walking the Room, and it's Greg Barron and Dave Anthony. And in 2010, I was doing this web show that was like a comedy-based web show, and Greg Barron was booked as a guest, like 2 months down the line. So I did a lot of research, and I found Walking the Room, and I realized I knew Dave Anthony from Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god, these two guys are hilarious. So I started listening to it. They were maybe 12 episodes in. Right now they're about at 112. So just to give you an idea.
Okay.
And I really fucking love that podcast, so I tried to start working for them because I felt like they were more on a track of what I wanted to do, more so than the thing I was doing at the time, which I'm not going to, like, bash, because it was kind of a domino effect, but it kind of sucked, and, like, these guys came up with this awesome show, but it's a totally different show. It's just two guys talking. There's really hardly ever guests. There's no need for anything additional. But I volunteered, and later on, around when they were at about episode 41, they decided they needed a glossary to keep track of everything that was happening on the show, since it was just two people creating this little Cuddla universe. And Cuddla is a term that's like a fan for walking the room, like kind of a play on juggalos, but it's all in the glossary, people, walkingtheroom.com. So yeah, like, so then I kind of got hooked up with those guys. But again, it's something that happens after the fact. I'm not a part of the show. Those hardcore fans know me because they like the glossary, but it's not very, like, showcasing, you know. But I really, really loved Death Squad, just because I love podcasts. Like, I'm a huge fan of, like, a bunch of different podcasts. But where like, since you're a fan of podcasts, how did you get started listening to podcasts? And we're probably just, like, totally gonna forget where I just cut us off, but where did you get into podcasts? Like, what was your first podcast, if you can remember, or first podcasts, and then later, how did you get into Death Squad? Well, my first, that's a great fucking story too. It's great because, like, you guys will appreciate all of this, you know what I mean, in, like, a different way than most people that I meet on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Because you're involved in that world.
Tell me about it.
The first podcast I ever listened to was when Kevin Smith was kicked off the Southwest flight.
Okay.
I always thought podcasts were a thing that you had to either have iTunes, like a Mac computer, or what the fuck were those things called? iPods. Yeah. Like, I thought it was strictly for that, but I'm so intrigued.
What the fuck were those called? The iPods. Anyway, I'm sorry.
iPods? Yeah, like, yeah. Because I've never had, like, an iPod. Like, I'm so behind on so many things. But, so, yeah, at the time, I just had a PC, you know, but I was so desperate to hear fucking Kevin Smith talk about what happened on that fucking airplane that I searched it out and found a way to listen to it. And then it kind of broke open that whole world after that happened, because it's like, oh, now I can listen to anything. And
so did you listen to, was that first episode you listened to, was that him interviewing, because he did an episode where he interviewed, I think it was a lady that he was on the flight with when he got kicked off, I believe.
I think this was, like, within a day of it happening, and it was just him and his wife, Jen, just as soon as it happened, like, their reaction to it. And it was crazy because, like, to just listen to one, you know, or two people just talk about one thing for that amount of time. He went on for, like, 90 minutes, but I was totally into it. Yeah. So it kind of opened up that whole world for me, because now it's like, oh, I do have access to this, like anyone does. I just assumed it was an Apple thing that, you know, I was going to miss out on or something.
Almost. Not quite.
Right.
So then Kevin Smith, which that's not that long ago, I don't think. It's like maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right?
I would imagine it was probably, like, early 2010, if I had to guess, just because I would have started on the web show. That was, like, late 2010, and by then I had already known about podcasts and was, you know, pretty into it. Cool. But Kevin Smith, just here's a little aside, too. Kevin Smith is, like, the first guy I worked for on, like, a real feature film, because I'm from New Jersey. So when they made Clerks 2, they came back to New Jersey to film where the Quick Stop was in the video store. So they mostly flew out LA crew, but they needed locals. So that was like that was the first, like, big major thing I ever worked on. And then a few months after, you know, that happened, I flew out to LA for the first time, like, to go to the premiere, and it was such a fucking crazy experience that it was like, that I'm fucking moving here. Like, that's it. Like, I'm moving. And within a year of that, I fucking did move. So it's so weird. Like the way everything's connected, like for that to be the guy that made me decide, you know, and then for that to be the first podcast I listened to. And here's what's really fucking crazy. In October at LA Podfest, like, Naughty Show's gonna be there, Walking the Room's gonna be there, and fucking Smodcast.
Yeah.
So it's just total weird. It's like the show Lost. I'm like the most excited person ever. I swear. I don't know. It's all so crazy to me.
Well, that's not a bad person to be.
Right.
So that's
pretty
cool. Yeah.
cool.
When I was actually gonna try and like I don't do research and I don't do anything and but I googled your name and you have an IMDb page and that's one of the credits on there is that you worked on helped work on Clerks 2. So that is cool. Oh, and we lost Vicky. She was so excited, shit. Skype couldn't contain it, and she got disconnected. Shit. Let me see if I can figure
Couldn't
out
handle
how
all
to do
that Vicky Pezza-ness going on.
Yeah. Let me see if I can add her back on. So how you doing, Justin?
I'm doing well, man.
Good.
Good weekend.
Yeah.
Hung out, got some shit done, you know.
Cool. Getting shit done is good.
Getting shit done. Been playing disc golf again lately. Getting back into that since I'm off of school right now, so doing my thing.
Uh-huh.
Went and saw Dark Knight Rises last night, which was fucking badass. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, don't say too much. Don't say too much. I haven't seen it yet. I actually want to see...
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of like, I'm not sure. To talk about it, it's getting into spoiler territory pretty much, you know, because it's like, the plot's been kept secret, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Hello?
All right, she's back.
Okay.
She's back.
I was like, no one's there.
Yeah, that's all we wanted. It's a really short podcast. We only do about 10 minutes, and then we're off.
And she's done.
Yeah.
Cut her right.
So then you were on the thing. I saw your IMDb page. You were on the thing. So then you moved to LA. And then did you know anybody in LA, or you just like fuck it, I'm moving out there? Did you just like find a place, or how did that go?
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you hear that question?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Awesome. So when you moved out to LA,
did you guys stay connected?
Oh shit, she's got disconnected again.
Damn.
I know, it's Skype balls.
Is she calling in? Or is
no,
is she online or?
She's calling via Skype online.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry about technical difficulties. We'll bring Vicky Pezza back as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
This is a treat because I am such a fan of podcasts, and I feel like we're having a really good one right now.
Yeah. Me too.
Exactly.
Fuck. Skype sucks. My balls.
Positive energy.
Positive energy. Yes!
Yes!
Alright, let's try this again. At least I'm figuring out, like, Skype changed shit, and it took me forever to get a freaking conference call going.
What if they changed just the way...
Just how I add people. Okay,
Hello?
She's back.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's prompting me to leave a message, because I think I was calling you at the same time.
Oh. Well, you can still leave a message if you want. Okay.
It might be happening simultaneously, so you might get this as a message. I think I wandered into a room where I lost Wi-Fi. I think that might have been my fault, so I'm back outside now.
You're fired.
I'll hang out outside. Oh, no.
Okay, so you moved to LA. Did you know anybody in LA? Did you just move out here? Have you ever been to LA?
I had only been that one time for the Clerks 2 premiere, and that was literally only a day. A layover got fucked up, so even I was supposed to be here 2 days, so it ended up being 1 day. So I was going on nothing, but I did have a friend here, Mike Chikalis, really awesome guy. He was a PA at the time. He's an AD now, like an assistant director. Okay. He lived here, and he had been here maybe 3 years already by the time I got here. So once I showed up, he got me PA job, like production assistant jobs on like a lot of cool shit. Right
I've never heard of that.
Which is cool. Like if I wanted to be like an AD, it would be awesome. But that kind of isn't what I wanted to do. But I learned a lot doing it, you know, like seeing how real shit works and what goes into it. It was really awesome.
So then, how did you get into Death Squad?
Okay, first time. This is so like backdoor crazy how I fucking found it. Like, because I imagine most people find it because of Rogan's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so when I got into Twitter, it was like I was totally obsessed with it, and I would always be on the computer because a lot of what I do is like writing or, doing shit online. So I would always have it open, and I followed this guy I had never seen or heard of or met, Brody Stevens.
Yes!
It was hilarious. I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
I was like, he does really funny tweets. And then one day, it was just a fucking full-on rant about people hating him. They're watching him right now. He sucks.
No.
Just going apeshit. So I clicked the link to see what everyone was talking about. And it was the Brody Stevens Experiment episode 3 with Johnny Spanish at Red Band's house.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that or if it's even still up for anyone to see. But it's an hour and 40 minutes of Brody just like screaming at this guy, Johnny Spanish, who was like his roommate at the time. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, they're just rolling. Yeah. And there's really no agenda, and so it's crazy. So it's like that's how I knew or learned who Red Band was, and then I put it together that he does Rogan's podcast, and then I started listening to that. So I listened backwards, probably from everyone else. I would imagine. I don't know.
So
how did you guys find it?
Well, I found, I was a fan, I don't know, I've, like, somehow been a fan of what Rogan's done over the years, like, not because of Rogan, just because of just different things, like, I used to work in a movie theater as a projectionist, and I would watch Fear Factor on a little handheld portable TV, and, then that went off the air, not even thinking Rogan was the host on it, and then I got into UFC, like, maybe 6-7 years ago, and he was an announcer on it, not like putting 2 and 2 together. And then a few years ago when I got Netflix, I found out he was a comedian. I didn't even know he was a comedian, and watched his comedy thing on Netflix, and then from there I started following him. I don't know if I followed him after UFC, but at some point I started following him on Twitter, and he did the thing, and I actually saw the first live Snowflake episode, and then I just kind of listened since then. And then it took a while after them mentioning Death Squad before I started listening to all the Brian's stuff, and then since then those have kind of taken over a lot of podcasts because I've listened to a lot and then just kind of stopped following them. But those most consistently are the ones that so I kind of, from what I've heard, just asking people that have been on the show, it's a very similar thing. Like, they've just been a fan and they kind of got in through Rogan. But I'm sure not everybody's, and I'm sure nobody has like went your path of like Twitter to Brody.
It was so like I so easily couldn't have seen it. But I had always liked Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, I liked his comedy, and to me, it's kind of funny how you were describing, like, a few years ago, putting it together. Like, to me, he was a comedian and he was an actor, because I watched news radio.
Yeah. That's another thing. I watched news radio, too. I totally forgot until he had mentioned it on one of his podcasts. I'm like, oh, yeah. Right. Like, all this stuff I like. So my girlfriend thinks I have, like, a huge man crush on Joe Rogan, which I probably do, but...
Which, it's because you do, right? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I think you do.
I'm in denial, man. I'm in denial. It's not that. It's the universe is giving me Joe Rogan, and I can't say no to the universe because it's so big. The universe, that is. So.
That's so funny.
But anyway. So that's cool. I'm glad, like, we asked that question of so many, because we we get on a lot of, like, all of our guests pretty much are associated with, since we came back, because we took like a year and a half off, and then when we came back, we changed up the format. We changed up a lot of shit and for the show, and just started getting people on that were Death Squad people, and just started building our own community, like, within that. And they all kind of seem to have very similar paths to how they got into Death Squad or got hooked up with it. But you, well, according to, because I started to watch the episode that you were on with the Naughty Show, so you met Sam via Twitter. And then you guys it kind of went from there. Is that right, or is there more to it?
Fucking insane. And again, it's just a fucking chain of events. Like, once I started getting into Death Squad and Rogan, and I followed everybody, and Doug Benson had been on Rogan, like, you know, when they streamed it live, and they announced that they were going to do a show at this place called Sal's Comedy Hole, which I'm not sure if it exists anymore or what the deal is, but it was new at the time, and so they only announced it via Twitter. And I saw it, and it's like, at that point, I had never seen Benson, Rogan, or Red Band live, ever. So I'm like, fuck, we gotta go. Like, so my husband and I went, and Tom Segura and Sam were on that show, and it was like, Sam was like the funniest fucking person I'd ever seen. Like, he had a mohawk at the time. Like, he was just fucking so hilarious. I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking great. So when I talked to him over Twitter, it was just some bullshit. He posted an article and I commented, and for some reason he wrote back, like, what's walking the room? So I guess because it was in my bio. So I'm like, oh my god, like, this dude's like reading this shit and paying attention. So we bullshitted a little, and he's like, yeah, maybe I'll have you on the show. So I told all the cuddlers, like, yo, you gotta tweet this guy to, like, make sure he does. Yeah. Like, you don't understand what that would mean to me, like, to be on an episode of Death Squad. That would be fucking awesome. And it would be a great chance to try to let, you know, the Death Squad people know about Walking the Room. Because at the time, that was, like, the only fucking thing I had, Justin. You don't understand. Like, it's kind of shitty out here. You know what I mean? You bring coffee to people for a few years, and you're like, I hate doing this. Like, you know, you wanna cling to the idea that, like, something good can come of this, and it's so insane that people know what it is. But we'll get to all that anyway. So after I talked to Sam on Twitter, and, you know, he mentioned being on the show, then, like, I wrote him on Facebook, and it was pretty much a scenario of, like, I'm gonna force you to be friends with me. Like, I saw your act, you're fucking hilarious, like, I get it, like, I get what you're doing, like, I think we should be friends. Who does that? I did it.
You did that. You did that, and there's probably a lot of other people that do that, but it's taken differently, and then there's restraining orders and possibly...
Probably, yeah, like, I'm not advocating to anyone, like...
That path will not always work.
that approach would probably never work. It just so happened that Sam was a fan of Greg Barron, who I worked for. So it wasn't totally as random as I'm making it seem, but, you know, more or less it was.
Well, yeah. And when you see things like how, like, the randomness has connected to put you where you're at today, it's like, what the fuck? But then when you're in it, you're just like, oh, yeah, I'll just take this opportunity. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you start seeing, like, they all somehow connect weirdly, and then your mind blows up and you have to lay down and cry for a little bit.
Let me tell you one of the craziest moments for me, and it has to do with your show.
Oh, shit.
Because there was, you know, it's like the cuddlers, Walking the Room fans, like, I kind of got to know in a different kind of way. Like, it's like you guys were a little more anonymous to me. You know what I mean? Like, so I was aware they all had these shows, and like, I had been on some of their shows or listened to them, so I know they talked about the podcast or whatever.
Wait, whose shows?
Huh? Oh, like their podcast, like Tales from the Attic, or
Tales from the Hard Side.
Well,
Or
Tales
what?
from the Hard Side's like, Izzy Rock's
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Like, there's a Tales from the Attic that's Seth D. Wright. He's like a cuddler.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's almost, it's kind of, it's like podcast inspired because they listen to Walking the Room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to like, Death Squad maybe inspired things.
Uh-huh.
I had never. I listened to your show with Izzy Rock on it, and it was so bizarre because like my name was mentioned at one point, and like you guys were talking about everyone. But the best moment was you started talking about what if one of us was listening to it. And that it's only a matter of time before somebody, like, pops this thing wide open. And then Izzy Rock said, that the notion of that kind of makes him nervous. And I'm sitting there folding my laundry thinking, well, it's fucking happening right now, dude.
Yeah.
Like you're in it. It's happening. You don't even
Ready,
know.
motherfuckers.
See, that's
Right.
why. I know,
Like,
I'm not worried.
listening.
These communities are so close together. It's like I was talking on the last podcast how we're evolving into like a digital being. Like everything biological is becoming digital, and part of that is like these communities that are forming online, but they're forming in a way that's non-geographical, so they can kind of overlap. It's like a very psychedelic map type of thing that's happening, and all these communities are so close. It's just a matter of time before they start merging, so I'm not worried about other people from other communities finding out, but at the same time I don't want to force it,
Right.
But it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things where you look back and you say that, and it's like it's way more mind-blowing when you're looking back at it rather than when you're in it. Just like all the chain of events that brought you to where you are. It's like it's really weird looking back and connecting all those pieces rather than being in it and just the pieces falling down.
Right.
Fucking crazy. So one thing I wanted to know, because it's just, a lot of people don't know what podcasts are. A lot of people don't know. Some people, not everybody watches all the shows that everybody else watches, and I was just curious to know what your description of the Naughty Show would be to two types of people. Like, how would you describe the Naughty Show to somebody who has no idea what podcasts are? Because I have to try and figure that out regularly, and then what it would be, just like somebody that knows about podcasts, just like how would you describe it? Or it'd be the same.
Okay. If somebody didn't know anything about podcasts either way, I would probably pitch it like it was a web show. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, yeah, you can watch it, multi-camera. The main description for either would be that it's supposed to be an adult comedy party. That's really what we're trying to do. I'll tell you right now, most people focus in on the porn star element, and it's either hit or miss because of that. Some people love it, and some people won't kind of give it a chance because of that.
Yeah.
Which is really bizarre for me because I never know who anybody is. Like, I'm not a part of that world at all, but I really like comedy. So, all right, let's see. I would say it's an adult-themed comedy party. Okay. And I would kind of leave it at that and let them ask questions. What would you say based off of that? Would you want more, right? I'm not giving you anything.
No, if you gave that to me, in my head, I would be like, I wouldn't think of people sitting down around a table with microphones in their face. I would especially if you added, like, it's with comedians and porn stars, it would almost seem like those quote-unquote amateur porn videos where it's, like, in a college dorm party, and, like, crazy things happen, except for it's without the crazy things. Like, when I describe...
Crazy things happen while we sit here.
Yeah, that is true, but crazy things do happen. Like, the episode you had... Fat Mike from NoFX and his wife. Crazy stuff kind of happened. And there's other things, like Red Band's had to pull down episodes off of Ustream because of some, not like crazy shit, but, you know, crazy for Ustream shit.
Right, nudity. It's usually girls go topless. That's usually the thing. If anyone's listening that doesn't listen to the Naughty Show, it's totally different now. You should really give it a try.
It is different.
If you listen to the first year and you were like, try it now. We're really mixing it up. We're really trying to mix it up. I mean, I don't, like, I get some good, like, positive comments, you know, on Twitter, about the episode, like, being good. We're trying to get, like, big guests. My whole thing is, like, I really, and this is just my objective. I don't speak for Sam or Brian. Just me personally, like, a goal that I had for this show was to get a little more acceptance from the rest of the podcast world. Like, it seems like, you know, a lot of these podcasts are very held in high regard by Splitsider and the AV Club and a lot of the kind of online publications that, you know, that review podcasts, and it just seems like, what the fuck, and Nerdist and Paul F. Tompkins and the same ones always get accolades, and Death Squad just goes completely ignored, and so does Rogan, and, you know, so do a lot of them that pump out way more content. So my whole goal was, like, how do we get these other shows that come out of, like, LA where we live, like, how do we kind of get them to take notice and make them a part of it, and maybe so, you know, we could kind of all do shows together, and why is Sam, like, not a guest on more podcasts? He's hilarious, shit like that. You know, these are the things that would bother me before I got involved. So once he was like, all right, I need help, I'm like, okay, here's my plan. Like, I was like, all right, here's what we should do.
So for what I would describe the podcast as, or at least what I'm seeing it kind of evolve into, and which makes me think that it's, like, way ahead of its time for podcasts, because right now, podcasts, like the popular ones, you look at the big podcasts, they're all, like, radio wannabes. They all want to be, like, sound like radio. They have their breaks and their things, and it's like, I hate that. That turns me off to podcasts a lot. Like, I stopped listening to, like, I love Kevin Smith, and I listen to his shit every once in a while, but the 4-minute ads that he has, which are funny, but, you know, I don't want to have to fast forward or listen to 4 minutes of ads. And then I know Adam Carolla. I used to listen to his, and I've heard that that's gone really radio. And then I listened to Sam on Punch Drunk, or Punch. Is it Punch Drunk? Yeah. Punch Drunk. Yeah. I watch that every once in a while with him and Ari Shaffir and the Teeb, and that network is very radio. But they keep it, like, they bring Death Squad to radio, basically. But that's one thing with the Naughty Show. I think of the Naughty Show as, like, the raw, real version of, like, a late night TV show, like a Conan O'Brien without literally pretty much any rules. So that's like, that's what I see. Like, it seems like that's kind of where it's going. And that's kind of what I would, if I were to, like, give somebody a quick, like, this is kind of like something that they know of that they can kind of compare it to, but bring it up to, like, a crazy new real level. And that's kind of what it seems like to me. But then Sam, like, he has fucking, you guys have insane things. It's like, it's kind of like wrestling in the crazy energy that's in that room.
I know, it's so good. And let me tell you something too. Another thing that really changed my perception of the Naughty Show before I started on it was the first time I saw the fucking Naughty Show live that he does. It's fucking insane, and it, like, if you've never seen one, and I don't know who would live where to have seen one, the production value, like the work that goes into it, the moving parts, it blew me away, because I'll be honest, when you know, back when it first started out and I would listen, it did kind of just seem like, you know, this guy shows up and he's kind of unprepared and he's bullshitting and he's funny enough and likable enough to keep my interest. So I'll keep listening.
Yeah.
But when I saw his live show, it's like this is a whole nother caliber. Like, you need to take what this is and put this on the air, because everyone needs to see this. It's so amazing. I can't eat, because, you know, it's full visual, like you're live, so it's just, you can start out with a fucking pole dancer and you're giving shit away to people, and most of the audience, this is what's really dope, it's mostly women, which is crazy. Like, you would think, like, you know, it's just all men coming to oogle the porn stars. It's not like that at all. It's like groups of women trying to win dildos. That's the live show atmosphere. It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy. It would exceed your expectations. So I totally see what you're saying, like, about the talk show vibe, and because there's a lot more going on than there usually are on other podcasts.
Yeah. Well, but
and that's why I get so annoyed that, like, you know, take notice of this fucking thing.
Well,
Nerds.
I don't know. That's one thing with Death Squad in general. I mean, because it fluctuates so much with different podcasts going in and out, and then there's, like, I don't know. I think with, like, the Naughty Show, over time, I mean, obviously Naughty Show's been the longest running one on Death Squad, but, you know, Bone Zone is a big one that I've seen. What's Good is also one, but it's just not put out nearly as much as all the other ones. And then he's got a bunch of other podcasts, aside from Ice House Chronicles, but all these other ones that are, like, so sporadic, and, you know, I think maybe that's kind of the thing. And then also what Brian was trying to do, that I do with the collective, Inspired Story Collective, is having all the shows on one feed, which I don't. You know, when he first started doing that, I'm like, what's going on? And then now I rip it off. But
right.
But it's still nice to have the opportunity to, if you don't like all the other ones, there's just one show that you like, being able to go with that. So I don't know. I think Death Squad is still going through a lot of growth before they actually, and they don't really promote anything that much. I mean, aside from just Twitter and Rogan's podcast, but I don't know. Maybe they just don't like how raw they are, because they're very raw compared to the other ones. Like, they just don't give a fuck.
It's amazing. It's like, I describe it all the time to my husband as, it's like if someone, it's a George Costanza line, it's like if someone discovered plutonium by accident. Mm-hmm. This guy just fucking he just hit it right. He hit it right, man. Like, he hit onto something that people love.
Who hit?
Red Band.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I give Brian so much fucking credit. Mm-hmm. It's insane what he's done, and you know what? What's crazy? You're right. Like, they really don't promote, and it blows my mind, because they sell out here twice a week. They sell out a room in LA, which people have to understand how really difficult that is to do consistently, because in LA you have a million fucking choices of what to do that night.
Yeah.
You know, you really do. Like your options are open, and there's a ton of shit to do every night. So it just says something about the quality comics he gets, and what a great, you know, and the Ice House is fucking cool too. It's like a cool place to go see shows.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I was there. I went and met up with Mike Maxwell. It's probably been like a month or so ago. And finally got to see the studio, which is crazy. Like, walking in there was like, oh. And then I got to go see the comedy show, and it's like super close. First time I saw Rogan, and it's like I'm right there, you know. Right. So it's fucking Brody Stevens. Got to see him. Got to see Red Band for the first time. Which, like, all these guys, because I kind of got into comedy late, and like I'm just with Death Squad and Rogan and all that shit. I'm like super, like, more and more into comedy. So getting to see all these guys live after knowing them first on a podcast, it's kind of nervous at first. You're like, I hope they're funny. Like, they're awesome on a podcast, but it's like I'm nervous. I feel bad if they weren't funny. You know, I wouldn't
Right,
want to be
right.
like a fake fan. It's like, yeah, they're good, man. They're really good. The podcast is better though. I'd recommend that. But yeah, that's fucking. It's crazy. Just the whole marketing in general for a lot of things is getting flipped on its head because everything's merging to digital, and like with Twitter, and if you build a community, then you have like these are people that listen directly to you, and it's not like you're throwing an ad out on a freeway where maybe 1 in 1,000 people actually gives a fuck. So it's like if Rogan says something on his Twitter, like everybody, like a huge percentage of people on his Twitter, that is a big, like huge impression to them. So,
Right.
So it's definitely cool to see what they're doing. I mean, the one thing I don't want to tell Brian what to do. I don't think anybody wants to tell Brian what to do because he's doing an amazing job. But he needs to get somebody in there.
I always want to tell Brian what to do, and then he can ignore it, and I can get mad.
Yeah, he needs to get somebody in there. He needs to get somebody in there to help him out to get these episodes turned over faster. Because the one thing, I mean, I got into watching all of the shows because it's slower, but it's so hard to like see where I'm at and see if is it on Vimeo or is it on Ustream? Is it on iTunes or is it on his website, or do I have to search Ustream? So it's always like a scavenger hunt a lot of times. But that's like the smallest thing I would say. Everything else good. I like that he updated his audio equipment and all that stuff. Very good.
I had a fight with somebody on Twitter.
Oh, shit.
About the uploading. No, but okay, here's why.
So,
okay,
yeah,
I
go for
totally
it.
agree with you, by the way. This is totally a thing that's like discussed. And all right, so maybe the past few weeks have been a little more insane than usual with San Diego and Vegas and shit.
Yeah.
All right, fine, I'll give you that. But I totally agree. Like, turnovers, so fucking important. But this fucking guy on Twitter, man, and man, it's like,
oh shit.
Okay, I was up at 9:30. That wouldn't be a big deal. I was up. It was 3:30 in the morning one night.
Okay.
I had just finished the Tumblr. I made this fucking ridiculous Tumblr because I wanted just a fucking site where it's all the Naughty Show shit, like if, every single episode and all the shit to do with it, right? So I'm working on this. I'm up. It's like a Friday or Saturday when normal people are like having fun and doing fun shit. I'm like a nerd. Like, wait, I've got to make a Tumblr. So this fucking guy happens to pick that moment to tweet, like, I demand the new episodes be posted. But it's like, he's incorporating me, and I could tell he thinks, like, that's up to me, and it's, like, not at all. Like, I have nothing to do with that. But instead of just being like, you're right, or I have nothing to do with that, I was just like... I just added Sam, like, I'm getting up 3:30 in the morning, this fucking asshole, and like, I tweet his name in like an hour, could be making demands, like, I get so fucking, like, that's the one thing, like, I'm kind of like an asshole, probably more than it seems like, because I'm always so excited, but when I actually am an asshole, sometimes people are like surprised, and it's like, all right, let's not take it that seriously, I'm just from New Jersey, and I'm kind of like, one of the only chicks amongst a lot of tough dudes. So, I must be a little bit tougher than everyone thinks, right? I mean...
You gotta be, man.
I'm not a cunt, guys. I'm not a cunt. I'm nice.
So do you get a lot of hate on Twitter? Or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good.
No, not at all. Not at all. I was very nervous about that, I'll be honest. And... and shame on me for thinking that way, I was definitely afraid of, there was a few things I was afraid of. I was afraid that if Teeb wasn't on as much that people would somehow think that, like, I replaced him or something like that. Like, I'm so paranoid because I'm a huge stoner, too. So I think of all these things, like, what if they're like, this girl isn't hot enough to be on the show? And it's like, that's not why I'm here. Like, it's because of skills. And, okay, we kind of need a woman to sit here so that it doesn't get totally gross. And just to show, like, we can laugh at this. It's okay. Like, everyone
it's acceptable.
Relax. We're just eating some speed weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and flash some titties occasionally.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's one thing that I'm super surprised, especially when we started this show up again. And I think right off the bat is when, or one of our first episodes, the whole Monkey Todd thing happened, and we had talked about it on the show, and that was before we were into like any of the. I don't know any of the Death Squad people that were listening to us at that time, but we had talked about it because I watched it and I saw the whole, like, when he was on for the Ice House Chronicles and like the whole weird thing that happened there. So we talked about it on the show.
I just met the night before, by the way. I'm sorry, but go on. This is great. I love hearing this. Okay, go ahead.
No, what'd you say? What about the night before? What?
No, I had just met him the night before for the first time.
Yeah. No, I think he had watched our show, and I had talked to him a couple times, and I had actually, right before he deleted his Twitter account or something like that, I actually offered him to see if he wanted to do a show. This is before I decided to do a network and all that shit. And I was just like, maybe I'll do another show. And I asked him if he would want to do a show. And then, like, the next day, people are like, where'd Monkey Todd go? And he, like, he disappeared off the internet. And then the next thing you know, you see he's, in LA. And then whatever happened there, he whatever the reason was that he was acting weird and weird shit happened. And then we had talked about it, I tagged it, and then we started getting like Postal Poet listen to us, Mish the Dish, and then like it kind of trickled down. Kind of the first few Death Squad people that started listening are now doing their own podcasts. So
right.
It was that's kind of one of those weird things where it all kind of started happening, and then I had an idea. It's like, well, Post Poet started doing his own podcast, and Mish the Dish started doing her own little daily rant thing. Right. And I was like, I'd really like to get them, like, put them in, on a show or a network, start something up, because it's something I had an idea of, and then it's kind of grown into what it is.
Right.
But that whole Monkey Todd thing, that's when we started getting a lot more Death Squad listeners. And
that was a great story to jump on. That was a great, because you provided, because that is such an obscure thing that happened that so few people would know about, but I bet everybody wants to fucking talk about.
Yeah, and I didn't really care. I just like talking about shit that I like to talk about, like my interests. Like, I'll talk about UFC, I'll talk about Death Squad shit, I'll talk about technology, and then art, and that kind of just branches off from there. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't, it was kind of weird just to see what happened. So it's something like, if something crazy happens, like when you had Fat Mike on the Naughty Show, I had to mention that on an episode because I'm a huge NoFX fan. Justin and I both are huge NoFX fans, so it was like,
yes.
That was something I had to mention. So, but one of the things, my original point was that I was surprised being in a community, like where a community starts accepting you, is like how there's no douchebags. Like, I haven't gotten any, as far as I know, maybe I just blew off some people, but like I haven't really experienced any negative. It's all positive energy. Yes.
Yeah, and I totally don't know why, but I always go into everything expecting, like, I'm going to get some kind of horrible negative backlash. I don't know why. Like, the first time when I went to be a guest on the show, like, in my head, I was like, what if Sam really hates Greg Barron and they're bringing me on and they're going to totally railroad me and make fun of me? Like, why would I think that? What am I, a sicko? I always think, like, oh God, I'm going to go do this thing and everyone's going to hate it and I'm going to get all this hate. Like, why would anyone go out of their way?
People do.
People occasionally do, and especially some things I tweet and okay, one thing I got shit for was when I talked about Corolla and what he said about women not being funny, which, by the way, it was totally misconstrued what I said. My main point was, like, he kind of said, like, it was like Roseanne had it easy, and I'm just like, in what fucking universe would Roseanne have it easy? Like, she was a total chub with an annoying voice, and it's not a lot of fucking pros on her side, and
That
like
sells.
the worst examples, of female comedians. Like he just named everyone on The View. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, no one thinks they're funny, dude.
Yeah.
That's not gender specific. Nobody likes The fucking View.
Just because
Sorry.
he thinks that show is like ironically funny, like it's funny to him how retarded he thinks they're comedians for some reason. I don't know. I stopped. There was a lot of things like I liked listening to Adam Carolla. Like I listened when I was a projectionist again. I'd listen to Loveline, and like that was another thing. It's like, oh, he's doing the podcast now, so it's like I checked it out, and I don't know. There was a lot of things where it was like he went a little bit too far in a direction that I don't normally agree with. So I just that was probably one of the reasons why I stopped listening to him. And he started just cranking them out like daily, so I couldn't keep up with that.
Right, and that's like a hard thing to. I mean, I hate to say to compete with, because everyone's like, it's not a competition.
Yeah.
But I'm always thinking, but isn't it? Like, but
No.
wouldn't it be nice to be number one now? It's really hard to compete with someone that pumps out that much shit every fucking week.
I think what you need to aim for, at least, I don't know, I don't want to tell you what to fucking do, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Go ahead.
At least, I mean, one thing, I just got done reading book 4 Hour Workweek, and it's about how to, like, it's for entrepreneurs and stuff like that, kind of how to automate a basic business to just kind of like generate money to where you don't have to put a lot of time into it. There's a lot of other tips on all kinds of different shit, but one of the things he was talking about is by Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you know who he is or not, but one of the things was like you find a product, but it has to be in a extremely niche like area. Like, don't go for anything huge. Go for like the most niche thing. And he gave examples like, which I can't even. Oh, there's one which was yoga for people who climb mountains. Like he had a product study or whatever. There was a lady that had come up with this yoga video on yoga things that would help for mountain climbers, and that was like the niche thing. So I think it's not like you have to be number one overall. You have to be number one in your group, in your, there's a lot of people competing for that kind of, because Naughty Show's never going to be number one. Never. That's just,
my God.
Like nobody,
it's very,
yeah.
It is very niche-y. And there's so many, the label comedy podcast encompass so many fucking different things and different people. Like, it would be, but Death Squad's gotten up there as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
And I love those weeks, like when fucking Brian will tweet, like, we're number 6 or something. I'll retweet that shit, like, watch out, fellas. Watch out, everybody. We're coming.
Yeah.
With just a few tweaks. With maybe just a few tweaks, we could be there all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think, from what I heard, how iTunes ranks shows, like the number one ranked show is purely defined on how many people rate and review a show within a given amount of time. So it doesn't matter. Downloads mean nothing. It's just all about how many people rate and review. That's it.
Yeah, and it's insane because so many people here hate Stitcher, which I love because I have a Droid, and that's how I found. Not how I found everything, but it certainly made listening to them constantly, like, way more convenient. Once it was like a Walkman, just attached to my body all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I always listen to Stitcher. I'm sorry, everyone, but, I love it. And it just seems like iTunes ranking is kind of fucked up anyway. So, like to me, all right, if you're giving something away for free, anyway, it's already free. And that's not really the thing you're going to ultimately profit on. What was weird to me is no matter, I don't know the number of downloads or subscribers or for our show versus the network or anything, but when we went to San Diego, like, people fucking handed me pot. Like, people knew my fucking name.
That's how you know you've made it. When you go to San Diego and people are just like, here,
the experiment's working.
smoke this. Yeah. Especially in San Diego. Because what I'm hearing more and more is how fucking conservative San Diego is, which Justin and I both live in San Diego, and I've always kind of known it, but I haven't known as serious as it is, I guess, how conservative they are. But so that's even more to somebody handing you marijuana in San Diego.
That was crazy. And one guy smoked 2 nights in a row. A guy, his name was Justin, actually, smoked me out 2 nights in a row. 'Cause I was there for the Naughty Show, but I wasn't in it. But I hosted the Death Squad shows, and he was there. And yeah, the Death Squad show night, a guy came up to us and gave fucking a bag to me and a bag to Brian, just like, here, I brought something for you guys. Like, this guy rolled up, like, with the intention of giving this to us. This is fucking crazy. Like, it was a very surreal thing, you know?
Yeah.
It was really cool. Oh,
I can't imagine. Nobody's done that to me, so.
It's really weird.
Not yet.
That's how you know you're doing something right in life, that's for sure.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, it's really hard to gauge. I mean, with free content and, like, there's so many ways to measure all the different things, and it's like, what do you look at? Like, do you look at your iTunes ranking? Do you look at your downloads? Do you look at your subscribers? What numbers do you look at? Or do you look at, like, how many people are following you on Twitter versus Facebook? It's like, there's no real way to, like, figure out how effective it is. But as long as the numbers keep going up, and, like if your Twitter numbers keep going up or your Facebook numbers keep going up, and not only that, but like just getting people to interact with you on those things, like the more interaction you have, the more like connected you are with those people, the more that's just going to help everything. And it's like you can't, there's no number that's going to say, you know, if you have 1,000 followers and you're active with 90% of those followers, you're you know, you have conversations with them, you talk with them, you know, whatever, in whatever small way, you have no idea how that translates into further anything. Because it could be a lot of those people just follow you and they don't even know, they may know you do a podcast, but they may never have heard it or something like that. So it's like hard to say where any of that, you're just kind of just building these weird like structures of acceptance. And it's like you don't know what any of it means. You don't know if it's good, bad. You compare it to somebody else. Like, I don't know. You know, like what is your? It's like you compare an Adam Carolla, who's probably not very active at all on Twitter. With, I don't know if he is or not. Like if he's not, and he has like 1 million whatever people following him, how does that compare to somebody who only has 1,000 followers? But has a really rich experience with all those people, and it's like more of a community rather than just a fan base. You know, like which of those is more important, and which is going to grow better, especially with the way internet's going today. You know, so it's like a weird fucking new, you know, experience and stuff. So for the Naughty Show, do you have like a favorite episode or guest or favorite moment?
Ooh, that's a good question. I gotta say, the Fat Mike experience was fucking unbelievable for me, because I do the research on the guests, and I knew Soma Snake Oil was our guest, but I did not know that they were an item. And when I found that tidbit, I texted Sam right away, and it was that day, you know, and I'm like, holy shit, like, her boyfriend's, like, the lead singer of NoFX. Like, do you understand? Because you don't, you know, you hear the music they play on there. I don't know if that means anything to anyone but me, you know? And I'm like, you got to get him on. So then Sam and Tony Hinchcliffe showed up that night, and they were like, he's coming, and we went and got Jameson or something. Like, they brought some shit.
Like a small bottle.
Just for him, you know?
Yeah.
And
awesome.
But when he walked in, it was so bizarre. Like, look, the whole fucking thing's bizarre to me, point blank, because it's like if you watched a television show. All right, like, say you watched fucking Cheers, okay? And you watched fucking the show Cheers, and then a year into fucking Cheers, you have to go work at that bar with those characters. That's me.
You're serving
I'm in the set of a show that I watched. and I don't always know what to do with that. And then I get stoned when I get there, and I really don't know what to do with it, and I usually just laugh the fucking whole time. Like, most of my work, like, my work's done before I show up, and then I hand Sam cards, and I fucking zone out. Like, is this happening? Like, what's going on right now?
So
But
to many
it's a really good
people,
time.
you have like the best job because you don't have to. You don't have to really.
Yeah.
I mean, all your work
Yeah.
is behind the scene. Not all of your work, because you are on the mic, time and now and then, and you're a part of the show. But you don't have to. It's not like you're not hosting the show. So
Right.
it's a lot of people I'm sure would wish they had that job. Including me,
It's
because
a pretty good scenario, because I'm not. It's like I don't feel the need to constantly insert myself the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's Sam's show, and the person that you should hear from the most on an episode is the guest.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it'll trickle down, and I feel like I can chime in when appropriate, but I am looking at Twitter. I'm looking at the time. Like, there's a lot of, a lot of times we have people come in and out. So sometimes, like, I'll just straight up leave the mic. Like, I'll just, like, walk off screen because maybe I have to go meet the fucking guest outside and tell them where to park, or,
yeah.
Somebody needs a drink, or we're going to fucking light the joint, or whatever the case may be. Like, shit happens that need, like, someone needs to kind of pay attention to all that, and Red Band's doing like all the technical shit. He's switching the cameras, obviously, you guys know what he does. But Sam's got to kind of run the whole show. So as long as he has the information, he could just be him and not have to worry about fucking anything else. It's cool. And to me, like, I'd rather be the fucking person on Death Squad that just, I get to say a few things. It's better than not being there. I love fucking producing and writing shit down. I love all that shit, and I know about all these people, and I book a lot of these guests too. You could probably tell which episodes I book, and which episodes Sam book. Like, if there's some, like, if it's like Fred Stoller and Paul Gilmartin, like, that'd be a Vicky episode.
Yeah.
Like, Will Anderson, that's a Vicky right there.
Well, you can tell.
If it's Dominatrix, it's probably Sam,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can tell. Like, same as like Red Band.
Sorry.
If Red Band has a guest that he's super excited about, he'll be a lot more active. So I'm assuming it's very similar. It'd be like anything. Anything you're excited about, then you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm in this. I'm in it to win it.
I realized my favorite episode because you asked me that like 20 minutes ago, and
That's all right.
Just go.
I didn't have a clock or anything.
My favorite episode ever, maybe of any podcast ever, was the Naughty Show episode where it was my birthday and Brody Stevens and Dave Anthony were on. That was because Sam let me book whoever I wanted. I could book two guests for my birthday, and Dave Anthony and Brody Stevens, two of my favorite comics, having them with Red Band and Sam. And I was just, and that was the first week Speedweed showed up, so I got the whole basket. It was like a fucking gift. I got a cake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. And then I did this stupid fucking thing about making them read auditions for this fake Walking the Room show, Little Big Dollhouse explanation, that literally, like, I knew no one was going to get but me. Like, I was just, it's like, now I'm just, like, amusing myself. Like, this is awesome.
That's the best.
That's the trade-off. I'll help out, and, like, I'll get these little moments of, like, I feel like you can really appreciate these little coincidences probably more than anyone I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who kind of don't know what I'm talking about ever and don't know what podcasts are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing, like, just in general, like, normal people, unpodcast people, it's really hard to just, like, explain what the fuck I do every week.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like an audio, it's like a radio, internet radio talk show kind of thing, but it's like, not really, because there is video, not that we're as big on video, which would be awesome to have a setup like Red Band has, at the Ice House. but it's just hard to explain what it is, especially because the shows, like podcasts in general, are so diverse. It's like you can't, other than it's like internet radio, you can't really, it's everything. There's everything. Anything you could ever think of, there's probably a show that does that. But so for you so you wouldn't want to like host a show? Have you ever like hosted a podcast or tried to host a show? I know you do comedy, right? You stand up.
Yeah. I'm almost a year into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would host. I like hosting stand-up shows. I kind of almost like hosting the shows more than just doing a
Stand-up.
set. I don't know why. I'm really comfortable hosting. It's fun. I'm sure I could host a podcast. I'd like to do that. I just felt like for right now, like I moved a long way to be here, and like my whole objective was like to work with people that I really think are point blank, like better than me and further along, and people that like I really feel like get it. So, I just felt like I don't mind taking a back seat for as long as it takes, because I don't know, like I don't know that I would get the same reception if it was like just me. Like these guys, they have an audience, and Walking the Room had an audience.
Yeah.
So I'm almost getting an audience from their audience, but it's so weird because like what you were saying about never seeing them do stand up, like people know more about me, like me talking like this, than they do like my act. Like you've never seen my stand up, it's not on tape, so you couldn't have possibly have seen it. And I think maybe people think it's going to be different than it is because it's not dirty at all. Like it's total like mundane, like I'm going to hammer a mundane scenario into the ground, neurotic kind of, like a big part of my set in San Diego was about how I don't understand how my fucking husband never saw The Lion King, and how we had to go see The Lion King and his reaction to it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was expecting that. I think they thought maybe I'd talk about dicks. I don't know, but it's.
But you don't really talk. I mean, that's the thing. You're not talking a lot on the podcast. So they kind of get your sensibility, but they don't get. Like, I'm sure over time, like if you hosted a podcast, which I think you should do, you should host a podcast. You should do your own podcast, even if it's like. I don't know if you've ever listened to Mish the Dish ramble on Spider Sword Collective. It's the most raw, like she basically just records it by herself on her cell phone while she's doing her job. She works for the postal service, and it's just like, but she's in from Revere, fucking East Coast. Joe Rogan talks about it all the time, and I'm blanking on like Revere. Anyway, you could even do that, and people I'm sure would listen. Like you wouldn't even have to do like a guest kind of structured thing.
Right.
I don't know.
I thought about maybe doing something like short, just something that I could do easy technically.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I really have to fucking do, like because I write a lot too, and it's like I don't have like any good blog, and I know everyone's supposed to have that. If you want to write, you have to have it fucking like on the word. It's like, I do stand up, I don't have a tape, I write, I have nothing but a glossary full of filth, just the word cunt and cock like over and over again. It just looks like I'm such a derelict. Like I went to college. I swear, like I have skills. Yeah, like I thought about doing something. It's so like crazy how time consuming all this shit is, you know, and non-profitable at all right now.
Yeah. Well, I bet if you, what is your goal? Do you want to do stand-up? Is that like your thing, or do you want to do, what is like your end kind of goal, or what's your goal right now anyway? Just kind of see how things go.
Basically, if things could just continue how they are, but get more of an audience, or like picked up in a different way, like a move to TV or something, or even solid, awesome sponsorship, anything that could lead to any sort of money, I'm into it. I love producing. I love writing. I like stand-up. I don't feel like it's my strength compared to the other two, but I don't feel like, to not do stand-up here, how will anyone know you're funny? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but everyone's a comedian here, and I'm really into going to the clubs, and I love the Comedy Store and going there and hanging out, and it just reaches a point where you can't be a part of it if you're not a part of it, and I want to be a part of it. Now, if doing stand-up led to a job writing or producing, that's fine. That's fine with me. I don't have to, be Lisa Lampanelli on the road the rest of my life, but if that ended up happening, that's fucking great too. I have no preference. I really just wanted to do, I want to do what I want to do. As shitty as fucking retarded as that sounds, like, I don't know how else to explain it. I always like the people that it seems like a Kevin Smith, and I know I keep referencing him, but I'm really not, like, I don't really listen to his podcast that much, to be honest. I really like his movies, but to me, he's a hero, not only because he's from New Jersey, where I'm from, but that guy does whatever the fuck he wants. He writes the movies, he directs them, he's in them. That he took podcasting to a whole nother fucking level. He pretty much, that guy does whatever he wants. He makes money off of being him, and he employs all of his friends. And those guys, like the guys from Comic Book Men, like those are the same people I worked with on Clerks too. Like, he just keeps people going, and they work at the store in Red Bank, and I just think that's so cool, like the people that do everything. So whatever way the chips fall, like, I'm totally cool with it.
Sweet.
Is that too vague?
No.
It was rocky coming here, trust me, because it was very, like, all my training, all my schooling, everything is behind the scenes production work. Like, my degree's in TV and film, like broadcasting and film production. So, editing and shooting, and I wrote local television commercials for like years before I moved here. That was my thing, and I would write ads, and we'd go out and shoot them, and they'd go on fucking basic cable, and they were all the real shitty ads, like, it's fucking Crazy Joe's Furniture, Freehold Jeep, and all, like I don't know what you guys' local ads would be down there. Do you have Neil Leeds, like stuff like that?
Crazy Joe's Freehold Jeep is what we have down here.
That's such a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
God.
It's
that guy can sell anything anywhere.
You've done really well for yourself. Yeah, it's gone national. That commercial. I'm just glad that he's offering a free whole Jeep, because I don't really want a half a Jeep, because those suck.
Free whole Jeep?
Yeah.
They're just giving them away. That's how good business is.
Right.
It's all because of that ad I made in 2003. I'm telling you.
It's fucking crazy.
Launch them to the top.
Crazy. It's just one more thing where you look back and you're like, wow, that piece, I had no idea where that was going to fall.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That really, I should have started at the very beginning, because that's what really launched my successful career in show business. That was it, right there. I swear I'm successful. If you think like my cable was off for a month, like 2 months ago, you're crazy. Is that what you think, guys? You're wrong.
Yeah.
DirecTV turned me off for like weeks. You're nuts. Yeah. I'm living the dream out here. This is all very...
So how many floors...
It's all as easy as it seems, I swear.
How many floors do you have in your mansion, and is your pool an indoor pool or outdoor pool, or does it go in and outdoors?
Oh, well, we have two. Obviously. I mean, come on.
Sorry. I forgot the levels of the whole Jeep marketing thing.
What do you think I am, on Earwolf? We're on Death Squad, gentlemen. I have two pools. Come on now.
I apologize.
How dare you? Oh, P.S., like what you were saying about the whole gauging Twitter followers, like the Naughty Show account is about 50 away from beating at Earwolf. So even though it's completely meaningless, I'm excited about it. These are the little milestones that make my day.
And Earwolf, I don't follow Earwolf, so there. How about that, Earwolf? But I don't even know. Right. That's a podcasting thing, right? I think it's a podcasting network, or is it a show?
That's a network, but they don't release the way, they release independently. But that has Who Charted and Comedy Bang Bang and Scarborough Country, a lot of big ones.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm walking into the garage. It's Scott Aukerman, and they pulled off of what the fuck? Stitcher. They pulled off a Stitcher, so I haven't listened to them in a while.
There's been a
Sorry,
few.
guys.
Yeah.
You guys and your principals, you're making me miss all your shows, and there's about 2,000 other shows to choose from, so
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, Stitcher.
Sorry we can't all have iPhones.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Calm down. Yeah. Some of us.
Raise a fanboy. Watch
Yeah.
yourself.
Raise a fanboy. Yeah. Justin's safe.
I can't talk shit. I got all Mac everything, so you know.
Yeah.
Damn
Free.
you.
Sorry, we've lured you into this meeting where we're going to brainwash you. Now just stare at your screen and don't blink, and soon you will be at the Apple Store buying multiple devices that cost a lot but work well.
Oh, I wish. I wish I was there right now. Are you kidding me?
See, it's already working. It's already working, people, and you will get a whole Jeep at the end of it. So you that's your favorite.
Let's start a Kickstarter account to get me all Apple products. Thanks,
Let's do it.
everyone.
Let's do it.
Launch it.
Let's just do a Kickstarter account to get everybody who's a Death Squad fan Apple products. Like it'll be a huge thing, and then, I don't know
We need
how.
backing.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, even just to
That's a lot of
divvy
money
out.
right there.
So, have you ever had a podcast that was sketchy? Like, if you ever had like one where you were nervous, not because you were too high, or maybe because it was you were too high, but one where you're like, I don't know, this may go in a weird way that I don't know.
I would
had
say
any
the
of those?
first few where I went to the studio was totally weird because it was not fully established that I was there to be on the show. I just wanted to go and watch it live. So Jenna Rose, episode 55 was my first one that I was on as staff, I guess, or producer, and Jenna Rose and Brad Williams were on, and Jenna Rose was like, why don't you sit here? And I was real weird, like, I don't know if they want me on, and I don't want to. So it was a little, that got weird at first. And then sometimes people bring more people with them than they're supposed to, and that always kind of sucks, because then sometimes I'll be the one to leave, so that I'm not going to make a guest not have a mic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I always get nervous because it's like, oh, now I'm across the room, so I have to I'll text Sam things, and my favorite times are if I'm sitting next to Sam, so I could slip him shit and notes, and I wanted to run as much like a real thing as possible. Mm-hmm. But you see how impossible that is, right? I mean, is that clear? Is that clear to everyone?
You're trying to control insanity, and you do a pretty good job. It's really hard to control insanity because it's called insanity, and you control it.
Sam goes, your problem is you're looking for order and chaos. I'm like, I know. But why don't we all follow the rules? I don't know. And make a good show, that's fucking flawless every week. I get real bent out of shape if something goes wrong. I panic as if our Nielsen ratings are gonna drop or something. I cling to every high and every low of this way more than everyone else is way more chill than me.
Yeah,
But they've been doing it so much longer. Sam's been, I think, a comic for 13, 14 years. He's been out here a long time. He's had television shows, and he's been on TV, and I'm, this is do or die for me. I need every episode perfect. And he's like, it's really not about that. And I didn't understand that fully until San Diego, and I was like, oh, I get it. They just like us.
Yeah.
They like us. So that's what we're doing. We're not trying to make, the perfect episode.
Because you never know,
they like us already.
Just because an episode is flawlessly produced and it's super clean and this, everything happens perfect, and then you have a crazy fucking episode where nothing goes right, but then people fucking love it. It's you don't know. There's no way to know at all.
It happens all the time. Stuff will happen where it's oh my god, that was total fucking, that was just chaos. Yeah. And we'll get more tweets from that than anything. Like, one episode I had to miss, and Phoenix Marie was on, and when I rewatched it, like, after, you know, when I got home, I was like, this is fucking filthy. Like, this is a whole nother level of filthy.
Yeah.
And my God, everyone's like, everybody fucking loved it, and I'm like, well, what do I know?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's just like, you know what? You're right. You can't predict it. What do I know? Now, Tony Clifton was someone that I was a little nervous to have on because I thought he would just fucking tear us apart.
Really?
But, oh my God,
that was
completely.
Awesome. That was awesome.
I knew his act. Like, I knew what to expect. I knew it was going to get very offensive and, you know, like gay remarks and black remarks and just women and all that. Like, I knew it was going to go there, but I didn't know if the audience would know who he was or what was happening. And I was a little afraid, like, is there going to be some kind of incident where he shows up and he, you know, just starts talking shit to us, or he shows up wasted. Like, I was really expecting, like, craziness, but I think that we breed crazy there. Like, crazy's where we live.
Yeah.
So he might have just been comfortable. Like, I heard him on other podcasts, and he was giving everyone shit, but on ours, it was almost like he was home.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no...
That was another fucking great one. Sorry.
Justin got disconnected.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Let's see. No, he should still be there. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that, hold on, let me see. Let me make sure. Justin, are you there? No, he is definitely not there.
Oh.
Hold on.
Justin, why?
I'm getting so good at this now. Okay.
I'm going to smoke, so this whole
Okay.
interview might go crazy.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, Justin, you back? Oh, no, he's still ringing. I could take a leak anyway, so we can just take a little break.
Okay.
Come on, Justin. See, I need a red band. That's what I need. Justin, you bet. No, it's fucking still. All right. Well, it's gonna keep ringing, and then I'm gonna play a little music video, and then you do what you gotta do, and I'll try and get Justin back on the line, and then we'll keep this craziness going. How about that?
All right. You know what? I'm going to run to the facilities as well, so I will meet you back here, sir.
Okay. Well, then, for anybody listening on the Ustream, we'll be right back. Peace.
Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. Throw you in a choke, gun smoke. Vicky Smalls for mayor, the rap slayer, the hooker layer. Motherfucker, say your prayers. Hail Mary, full of grace. Smack the bitch in the face, take her Gucci bag and a North Face off her back. Jap her if she act. Funding with the money, oh, you got me mistaken, honey. I don't wanna rape ya, I just want the paper, the visa, capisha. I'm out like the vapors. Who's the one you call Mr. Macho? The head honcho, slick this like Cumacho. I got so much style, I should be down with the stylistics. Make up to break up, niggas need to wake up. Smell the Indonesia, beat you to a seizure. Then fuck your mom, hit the skin to amnesia. She don't remember shit, just the 2 hits. Her hitting the floor, and me hitting the clits. Sucking on the tits, had the hooker begging for the dick. And your mom's ain't ugly, love, my dick got rock quick. I guess I was a combination of House of Pain and Bobby Brown. I was bumping around and jumping around. After then I asked her who's the man, she said B.I.G. Then I bust in her E.Y.E.
Da 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 da. It's the one and only Digo Double G.
Snoop Dogg.
Da 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 da. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Yeah. You know the West Coast is back for all you suckers.
Top dog by them all, yeah, I'm burning it up. DPGC, you should be turning it up. CBT, LBC, yeah, we hooking back up. And when they bang this in the club, baby, you got to get up. Cause homies, thug homies, yeah, they giving it up. Low lot, yo lot, boy, we living it up. Taking chances while we dancing in the party for show. Slip my girl 44 when she crept in the back door. She gets looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. Step up in this mother, just a swank in my hand. trip, quit talking, crip walk if you down with the set. Take a bullet with some grip and take the smoke on the jet. Out of town, put it down for the father of rap. And if you happen to get cracked, trick, shut your trap. Come back, get back, that's the part of success. If you believe in the S, you'll be relieving your stress.
All right. So Justin's still not on yet.
Oh no.
I know. I'm gonna see if he just moved and he has a shitty connection. So I'm gonna just see if I can call him. Oh man. Okay. So hopefully he can call in. Okay. So hopefully you can call in and I can figure out how to do that shit. Okay. Whoa, I got really loud. Jesus, I scared the shit out of myself. All right. So what were we talking about? We were talking about stuff. We were talking about the sketchy time. The Tony Clifton one was crazy. And the only reason I know who the fuck Tony Clifton is because of was it Man on the Moon? Movie?
Yeah.
Because I was never into. I mean, I'm not like a comedy geek, so I don't know. I hate that term. I hate the term geek. So sorry to all the comedy aficionados. How about that? Yeah. So and it was crazy. Like I didn't know. Like with the whole thing, I didn't know that he was a real person. I don't know if that he actually is a real person or he just like. I don't know what the whole thing is. Like, I thought that was all just an act. That,
I don't know what I'm supposed to say here.
You don't
Am
have
I supposed to reveal this? I don't know.
You don't have to reveal any, and it's all up to you. I mean, I know you might be, your judgment might be slightly, word. I can't think of them.
I get it. I know. You're promoting drug use to get me to reveal confidential information on your podcast.
No.
My God, Ray Taylor, how dare you?
How dare you use my full name? How dare you? Vicky Pezza.
Putting the pipe in my mouth, he is. Pulling the words out.
Hey, I just want you to be comfortable to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And if talking about whatever situation that may be quote unquote confidential to other people, if you feel, I mean, I just want to give you the floor to discuss whatever you'd like to discuss, but I happen to like that episode quite a bit. I didn't think it was, I mean, you didn't say it got crazy, but I know you were worried about it, but yeah,
it got crazy in a good way, not in a way that I was like, oh my God, are we going to have to like... I don't know, because Tony Clifton was on The Green Room with Paul Provenza on Showtime and got dragged off.
Nice.
And I had seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to expect on our podcast. I really didn't know what to expect. But I had seen his show at the Comedy Store. It's very wild. But I thought he fucking loved it, and we loved him. So he's literally allowed to like walk in anytime he wants. And awesome. Annie Polks was fucking awesome. The girl with him.
Oh, like, yeah.
He could have brought a better fucking girl with him.
Yeah.
Like, she was so good.
Yeah, that was an awesome episode. Is there anybody that you are either trying to get or like your dream guest person on the show?
Oh, wow. There's people that I've written to that I haven't booked yet, but that I thought would be good. We're working on getting Mark Maron, and I would really love that. I would love to have Maron on a Death Squad show. He's never been. It seems like it would be a good fit. I wrote to Andy Milanakis. I'm trying to get his people to get him on. I thought he'd be good because he's kind of crazy.
Free Loco shit's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like, I don't know that much about him, but I know enough to see, like, there would be a fit there. We really want to get, like, I would, like, okay, you know who I would fucking love to get? Like, if I could book fucking right now? Fred Willard. Like, to me, that's something, like, like we should be jumping on shit like that. I love him. You guys heard what happened, I'm sure. He jerked off at the porn theater, but I liked him before, and I had, like, he was always on my short list anyway. I had no idea this was going to happen. It just worked out. So,
it's like plus.
You know, someone like that. There's so many good people here. I love, my favorite loves in the world are The State, the show The State on MTV, like that sketch comedy show from the 90s. I fucking love The State and everyone in it. I love the television show Lost. So, you know, and anyone to do with those things would be amazing. My problem is that I fucking love everything, and my bar for fame is insanely low. Like, if I even remotely know you, like, you're famous to me.
Yeah.
So I'm just, it's a constant, like, I'm always excited. It's not going away. Like, I've been here a while. I'm not jaded at all. So.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm going into year 5, so let's see what happens. But so far, so good.
So we'll have to get you on the podcast in another few years to see how much more jaded you are after.
Oh my God.
Like all the insanity that's going to happen over the next 5 years is going to be crazy.
I fucking hope that I have, like, way more interesting stories than, like, I got Kevin Smith coffee in New Jersey. I hope
that's an interesting story. To normal people, that's interesting. Like that, I'm interested that you got it. What kind of coffee did he drink?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember? Do you remember his order?
Okay, I didn't literally get him coffee, but here is something that happened.
Oh,
he was chilly on set, and he needed me to get his Silent Bob coat from Wardrobe just so that he could, as he put it, wear it for warmth. That's a moment I remember. I didn't actually get him a coffee. It wasn't you know, that bad, but
telling stories.
But that would have been, if he needed a coffee, I would have. That was my job title. Like, I'm not trying to, you know. I was keeping people at the corner at bay, like, and yelled rolling, so they knew they couldn't talk. Like, that was my contribution. that was my role. Hear that crisp audio in New Jersey? I kept people from screaming. That was me.
See how silent it is? That's awesome. So what shows are you into now? Do you watch, like, how, because I know for me, like, I don't have cable, so I watch, like, Netflix, or I'll download shows, but most of it's podcasts. Where are you at as far as, like, your entertainment spectrum?
It's very podcast heavy.
Yep.
I'll be honest, and I'm like a TV junkie. Like, I would just have TV on, even if I'm not watching it, just to be on. I was always very into, like, you know, like Adult Swim and stuff, but my God, this podcast shit has just taken over everything.
So then what are your favorite podcasts to, do you watch, listen, both? What takes up your time in that spectrum?
Normally, if it's available to watch, I will watch it or play that even if I'm not watching it. So even if it's running behind my screen, I'll usually hit the video for the hell of it.
But what shows?
If I'm working on the computer.
What shows are you watching?
The Death Squad ones, Rogan. That's pretty much the only ones I can watch. Occasionally, I will watch the Kevin Pollak chat show if somebody I really like is on. Because his is video too.
Okay.
For audio though, Walking the Room is the podcast. I've never missed one. I always listen the night it comes out. That would be my one, like, if you watched one live, like, that's the one. Every week. Never missed one. Know everything about that fucking show. Like, the way people would know about Star Trek or something, like, the way people geek out over little tiny things, movies or shows, like, I'm like that with that podcast.
You know, there's people out there that are like that for The Naughty Show.
Really?
There has to be.
That would be so, oh my God, that would be so crazy. Like, if like, people, like, knew quotes. I really think we should make more use of shit like that. I'm not saying have catchphrases and shit, but sometimes some shit gets said on that show that's so fucking funny, and I'm like,
well, the whole Sam Tripoli, every time he brings up what he likes to hear a woman scream in bed, is a very
my
common
God.
thing.
My God.
For that show.
Is that our catchphrase?
No,
Jesus Christ.
no, but I've noticed, like, Red Band points it out, like, every time he even gets close to talking about that, he brings it up.
All right, Ray and Justin. Now my question to you: would those T-shirts sell?
Oh,
Would that as a statement on a T-shirt? Would you buy one?
What exactly
yes.
would the T-shirt say?
I like to be called the N-word in bed, but just write it out.
Yeah.
Just write it out. And full ER. We're going full ER with it, too. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah.
And wear that around town. That would
You know
be
what?
great. You'd get a lot of downloads.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a way you could do that shirt, like, so it's more PG. Less...
Oh my God! Let's not do any version of that shirt.
Yeah, because
No, I don't know.
some
I
violence.
would buy it, but I don't know where I could wear it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would probably find some places to wear it, but no, I don't know where I could wear that. Like,
I
just
would
as a white
definitely
person,
not.
if you had a big, like, your black audience for that show would probably wear it, for sure. And probably Mexican chicks would wear it. Or not Mexican chicks,
Oh.
but I could see demographics wearing it, but a white guy wearing that shirt would probably not go well in most situations.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I would vote. I'd vote that design down.
But if you
I've
did
been
like
known
a
to vote
poster,
design down.
like if you did a poster with that slogan on it and like a cool picture, that would go insane. Because it's inside your home, you don't have to worry about the public. People would gobble that shit up for sure.
Oh my God, it'd be so funny.
Like, that was a poster. If you got a really cool, I don't know, like a cool illustration of whatever, like the scenario where, you know, I don't know. There's so many different options as far as the imagery you could have on that poster and with that slogan. That would sell. You could sell that. I don't know if Spencer's Gifts would sell something like that, but that would be a store that you could almost see that poster in. You know.
I don't know why. I'm just having this image of maybe it being horribly misconstrued. I know I'm going out on a limb here.
That's why it would have to be
territory, man.
It would have to be the image would have to be able to sell it. You'd have to have the right illustration and that, and I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
I have a way better shirt. Ready? Here it is.
Okay.
It just says 100%.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Like, that's a shirt. Like, that's everybody gets it.
That's a Teeb. Is that a Teeb thing, or didn't the Teeb say that a lot? 100%.
You know, I really don't even know who started it.
Oh.
I really don't.
But yeah, that one, or Well Written. I don't know. That one's a really big one. I know a lot of people know that one. And that's only from the one episode, the holiday episode. The Santa Claus.
Oh my God, the roast.
Well Written.
The epic fucking Well Written would be a great shirt. That would be fucking great too. That was on, like, absolutely, but that might be taken, like, people might think it's like a Tim and Eric production company thing. Isn't that their thing?
I don't know.
Absolutely. Like, to see it written out. Anyway.
Probably.
No,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
is fucking tweeting me what's good on this shirt. I don't know. They exist. No, like, cause we have, like, we actually do, like, have shirts right now that's just like the logo.
The Black Cock Bomb.
Want a little scoop? Want a little fucking scoop?
Scoop.
Right. The Naughty Show logo that looks like the parental advisory sign, the new logo. I made that on a very sophisticated design program called Microsoft Word.
Nice.
Holy shit. #1 graphic design up in the house. I
literally do any fucking crazy thing that needs to happen. Like, I was just like, are you married to this logo? Because I fucking hate it, and I don't even know what it's supposed to be. And
Which
he
one?
goes, it's just a font. I'm like, this show's been on a year.
You're talking
Your
about the...
logo's been a font this whole time? What the fuck, man? Like, the branding, like, was just non-existent. It's, like, the funniest That's how you know they're good, because they've gotten so far on like just being funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Organization is like extremely subpar. I know I'm a nitpicky woman going in there putting down their toilet seat every week. I get it, but my God, I just want to fucking clean house. It's so funny. But little by little, like we're getting there now. We have the logo. Now it's on a shirt. Now the next step, Jason, I'm sorry. We're going to put the shirts online and people can actually get them, and it'll be great. And everyone will, there's no mixed messages. It's just the naughty show.
Yeah.
Everyone calm down.
Well, doesn't he have the Black Cock Bomb shirts too? Or are those not out?
Well, we
those
did, and
naughty
the
show?
people made a lot of shirts, and it was I don't know. It's kind of a weird scenario with those right now.
Oh, okay.
They will eventually become available in some capacity. I know that.
Yeah.
Because everybody's really into them.
Yeah. Well, everybody's really into... That's one thing that I've noticed. Another thing, Red Band, but he started to do it this year, is like merch. You know, T-shirts and stickers and stuff like that. There's so much opportunity for him to be doing a lot of different things, especially because they have a big audience, like just in general, on Twitter.
Right.
You know? So, I don't know. That's cool. I mean, seriously, like, you guys could come out with 5 shirts, and I'm sure, like, a huge percentage of your listeners would buy them.
Oh, I hope so.
I don't know, yeah.
Because we have them, we just have to make it so you can get at them, access them. We'll mail them to your home.
Yeah, I guess.
You can wear them around town. People will be like, what is that? They'll look it up.
Yeah.
It'll
like,
spread.
I was wearing Ari Shafir's tour shirt, and I've had tons of people ask me where I got that. Like, just a cool... It doesn't necessarily... Like, it's not a blatant advertisement for Ari Shafir. It's just a cool design. And then I end up talking about what it is, which may or may not work, but it would, it works better than just seeing somebody's shirt, like knowing what the fuck it is and stuff.
Right.
But, for sure. So how you doing, Justin? You got disconnected there for a little bit?
I did, man. I apologize. My connection here is still really shitty, man. So it kind of comes and goes. Like, just hearing you guys talk, and it was just got cut out for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden I'm back in the conversation. It's messed up. I apologize.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm with you, though.
So, what other music are you into then? No Effects, obviously, which both Justin and I are both.
Oh yeah, Ray and I went and saw No Effects a couple of years ago. Their 25th anniversary tour. They go to House of Blues, and it was badass. Definitely, Ray and I are big No Effects fans. So, just the fact that you're in the same room with, Fat Mike and all that.
It was mostly like me staring at him. Yeah. Like, wow, this is crazy. And then me thinking like, oh, I hope my friends from high school are watching this, so they're thinking, I could be like, fucking suck it. I'm the coolest. And then I'm looking at him too, and I'm thinking, because like I used to have a mohawk, like I used to be, like I always feel like I used to be so cool, and now I just don't have the time or effort. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this guy's hair, and I'm like, motherfucker, man, it's a blue mohawk, like perfectly done up. Like, look how cool these two look, still into it,
Yeah.
Devoting all that time, like. I'm a fucking fraud with my lip ring. Like, this is all I have. This is all I have left.
Yeah, but
I might get to go, like, be in the background on some show, so I'm afraid to look, like, too weird.
Yeah. Well, that's their lifestyle. They get to live that lifestyle. So it's just part of the job. It's like somebody having to buy work clothes.
Exactly.
Except for their clothes are way cooler, and, they probably have stylists and stuff to do. Who knows? I don't know. I used to have a mohawk, and the worst part was trying to get it, like, the longer it got, it's such a pain in the ass to deal with. So
oh my god, yeah, to keep it up and all the shit you have to put in it, and the fucking blow dryer, and
yeah, it's a lot of work. For somebody that had, it's a really weird thing for somebody that's, like, in the punk rock, like, that kind of culture of people to spend that much time on their hair.
Right.
You know, it's like a
Right.
very contradictory thing to spend that much time on your hair and then go up on stage and play punk rock. Like if they took that time to do their hair in any other style, they would be like poser. But if you do it to do a
Right.
mohawk, then it's okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I
So what do you
love
think
that.
about the new? I went to Warped Tour in San Diego, which I haven't been in. Actually, the last time NoFX headlined, which is probably like 7 years ago, and I went and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Have you been to Warped Tour? Have you? What's your idea on the new like quote unquote punk scene? I don't know what new music is anymore, but that was
I really don't either, and I would say about 7 years back is probably about right. I started going maybe 96, and I went through the late 90s, maybe the early 2000s. I don't think I went after 03, I don't think. So now it would okay, if like the Vandals were there, I really like them. NoFX, Ranted's probably like my favorite band ever. Like I love fucking Rancid. But I feel like I wouldn't know anything.
Yeah.
And definitely not like know enough bands to subject myself to what the Warped Tour entails, or at least what it entailed on the East Coast. Just massive amounts of people, like in the heat, like a lot of shoving. Like, you know how like when you know the band really well and you know every song and you know every fucking word, like to fight that crowd to get to the front and to be in that, you don't even feel it.
Yeah.
But like when you don't know the band and you're just caught in like a mob scene, it's like a totally different experience, for me at least.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Like when you get into it, I just block it out, you know?
Yeah. That's exactly what my thoughts were at the Warped Tour. It was like, well, one, the age is like, I felt old as fuck. It's like, holy shit, I should not be looking at girls dressed like this. And then, like, not all the music, like, they're kind of diverse now. Like, there's some rap stuff, there's some like heavy metal at Warped Tour. And then there's like a lot of pop, and there was some like ska bands, which I was surprised. Which I used to be a fan of ska, for a time. But it was just like, the age was crazy. And yeah, it was way more packed. And the last time I went, they had beer gardens. This time, which was nice, they had them spread out, but there was like just drunk kids everywhere. It was like, this is, and it was hot. It's like, I don't, unless there's a big band that I haven't seen in a long time or never seen that I really want to see, then I'll go. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And, you know, the headliners were like Yellow Card, Taking Back Sunday, The Used. Some people, like, I used to listen to them, like pop punk. It was like I went through a phase where I listened to pop punk, and then I listened to them, and they were like playing the exact same songs they played 10 years ago, but they were like, they're like old, they're all jaded by these songs. Like, they don't seem excited at all. The crowd's singing most of it, and it was very disappointing. It made me feel old in general, just for so many reasons.
I'm afraid like that's how it's going to make me feel at this point. I just don't think I don't think I would know enough. Like, even the bands you mentioned, like, I know them, but I'd be waiting for those one or two songs.
Yeah.
You know, man, and it used to be like you would go and it was like, oh shit, like who should I see it?
Yeah. Who am I going to leave off of seeing? Who am I not going to see? Yeah.
Everyone's competing. Like I really love the Bouncing Souls. And MXPX.
Yeah.
That's so lame, I know, but they're awesome.
It's all those bands, man. Freaking
Lagwagon.
Yeah.
They were really good. Oh man.
Hell yeah. Any Pennywise or?
Yeah. Of course. Well, I know, Ray, you're 31, right?
Yeah.
Justin, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, I'm 31. So we're all in that same range.
It's okay. None of us are too old. We're all the right age. Everybody else sucks. They're either too old or too young.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we have we're right about the Warped Tour bands back in our day.
Yeah. So did you get into ska too? Did you follow a similar progression? Or no?
I mean, I kind of liked ska, like mostly third wave ska, like pop punk kind of stuff. But I also got into like hardcore, like I liked Gorilla Biscuits and Bold and like Revelation Records kind of bands. Minor Threat I really liked. But I really liked The Clash, Sex Pistols. We had this band, The Casualties. I don't know if they're popular here, but they're like in New York. I did a lot of like I would always go to shows in like North Jersey or New York, so I thought that was a lot of these bands were like LES Stitches or Blank 77. Like to me, those were popular bands. But now I live so far from there, I don't think anyone.
I don't know. It's hard to like. I don't even know how music is now. Like music with everything, it's like there's so many. It's so easy for so many bands to get popular. Like local kind of bands. Like I don't know. It's probably, I don't know, it's like it's a weird plane for them to be, I don't know. And I don't listen to new music. Like I don't it's
I was just going to ask you that because I really don't don't pursue it at all.
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff that I'll get into cuz I had like a hip hop phase kind of recently that I still listen to, but like underground, I don't like anything that's played on the radio. A lot of that stuff I can't listen to.
Right.
But so I might find new bands like that way or on Pandora. But for the most part, I listen to a lot of the same stuff that I like. I love the 90s alternative station on Pandora. I listen to it all the time.
Love that era.
Yeah, just 90s. There's so much, and there's so many songs they don't play on, at least, I don't know, my station of Pandora 90s alternative. But yeah, that's probably what my favorite or my most listened to genre of music. Maybe not my favorite, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that era.
Yeah. So what other stuff are you into, like entertainment wise? Are you into like movies and stuff like that? Have you seen any of the new movies coming out this summer? Are you not a big movie watcher?
I used to be more of a movie watcher until I moved here, to be honest. Like, I don't know if it's because, movies have just gotten more expensive to go to and we've had less money, or if it's because television, I feel like, has gotten so good.
Yeah.
And having Netflix is so good that it's almost like, why go out? I know that's a horrible way to think, especially like coming here and trying to make a living off of it, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation. I'm really into TV. You know what show I'm really into, and it sucks. This is horrible.
Uh-oh.
Do you watch fucking Storage Wars?
Yeah.
Storage Wars. Hell yeah. Yep.
Let me tell you guys something. Oh my god,
shit.
this is the best. Okay. I fucking love Storage Wars. And another show I watch, and this is just really awful, is the Steve Wilkos show.
No idea what that is.
That's because you're a normal person with like
no, how
taste,
dare you?
I'm sure, because you probably actually watch good programming. Sans Storage Wars. Steve Wilkos show is a talk show hosted by Steve Wilkos, best known as the bodyguard of the Jerry Springer show. Well, guess what? He's got his own show, and the guests are just as wacky, but he doesn't allow that fighting shit. They're not quite as rednecky. Okay. So, the guest on this show, like, this is all going somewhere, I promise.
Yeah.
Okay. The guest on the show was accusing his wife of having an affair, right? Because he tape recorded their bedroom. And he told Steve that he has a recording of his wife sleeping with her son, okay? So they play the recording. Yeah, it's fucked up. Shit got fucked up on Wilkos. Okay. They play the recording, and I'm listening to it, and I rewind the tape and I listen again. It's clearly the television, and on the television it's a commercial for Storage Wars, because I hear yep, and I hear a lady talking, and it's totally Brandy, Jared.
So it's an audio recording.
It's an audio recording, and he plays it, and it's just this muffled. And what's fucked up is no one at any point said that's a Storage Wars commercial. Like no one said it. The audience, like none of the producers, Steve, nobody said like that's clearly an ad for Storage Wars.
That's ridiculous.
So I'm like, am I the only one that noticed this? Who do I call? What do I do? Do I tweet someone?
Well written.
This is groundbreaking.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that show. Well, I don't have TV, so it's like if it's not on Netflix or a podcast, it's hard for me to watch.
Oh, right.
So it's not Taste. I'd probably watch that, but especially after that raining endorsement on it.
Where do they find these people, and how do we get them?
There was something that, because you're saying TV is a lot better than movies. There was somebody as one of the Death Squad shows, or on Rogan's show, where they were saying like it seemed like a lot of it may have actually been Sam Tripoli said this, that everybody in show business has kind of taken a step down, to where like a lot of the people who are in movies are now doing TV, and a lot of people doing TV, like especially people that had like TV like comedy shows are trying to do stand-up now. There's a lot of TV people trying to do stand-up, and then there's a lot of stand-up people doing podcasts, like kind of a trickle down type of thing. And I think maybe that's why, because there's more of a concentration in this new medium that's a lot more flexible, probably because there's not as much money involved. Like the lower you go down, the less money is involved, so you have a lot more control, especially when you get shows like Louie or Wilfred on TV, where it's like those are like those most like artistically comedic shows on TV that I watch. I think that there's something to that, as far as, just kind of everybody's taking a step down and then finding a new freedom to do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
So.
And I guess the hope is that if this is the structure right now, the hope is that you'll be in that spot when it all rises again.
Yeah. For
hopefully.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think it's like an evolution.
Would be to find a way to do it all around all these people, which Louie's definitely doing, and people are doing now with their stand-up.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I don't think necessarily that this is, I mean, the podcasting is a whole new medium. So it's like, I would like to see podcasting take over TV. And I mean, it's already pretty much taken over radio. It's like, just instead of trying to work towards an old, kind of medium, like, oh, I want to do a podcast, like the Reporter Kid, the young kid that does podcasts. I'm aware of him. His goal is to like do radio. It's like, why would you even consider? You're doing radio right now. You're doing like way better radio than a lot of radio does, because you don't have ads and all kinds of shit. You can say whatever you want for the most part. So it's like you're, instead of working towards some old medium, like just work on, this is a whole new thing. Like this has video, it has audio, so it can easily eclipse all of those other things. Instead of like working to get a TV deal, even though it may, obviously make a shitload more money, like you could be ground level. Like that's like somebody saying, like doing like theater, and then like they just do a something on this TV thing just to help their theater. Like I want to get bigger plays, instead of like the TV taking over theater. It's a weird analogy, but. I don't know. I think of it as more of like, this is something new, and it can go way higher than a lot of shit, and it could be utilized. I mean, instead of like releasing a movie in theaters, someday maybe you'll just release it online, and then boom, it's on your home theater, and you pay instead of going to a movie theater. You get the same experience, which you pretty much do with a lot, like Kevin Smith did with Red State. He went on a tour, which was fucking crazy. To different cities, and then he released it all like video on demand, I think before he started releasing it through distributor. So he's changed a lot of shit. I
watched it, and I think to watch it on demand, I forget, it was either $7 or $9 or $10, but it didn't matter. It was totally worth it. There was two of us watching it, so right there.
Yeah.
it was less than the cost of one ticket. And I could stay home and I could fucking smoke and fucking eat my snacks in the comfort of my own home. And we could watch twice, which we did. Because you have it for 24 hours. So it was, that was awesome.
And you could pause it.
That's another groundbreaking thing he did, by the way. I'm just like singing Kevin Smith's praises. You know, like he's not this much a part of my daily life, but he's coming out so much in this podcast for some reason. You must think I'm like, all hell Kevin Smith over
so
here.
the next question is, when are you going to get Kevin Smith's tattoo on you and where? It's going to be like across the chest, Smith.
That's amazing foresight,
Yeah.
first of all. That's so crazy. Oh, God. Did I say enough good things about Sam? I just want to make sure. Am I getting the point across? He's like the coolest person ever. Like, I want to make sure that's clear. If I leave you with nothing,
that
guy's
Sam
awesome.
Tripoli
Have you made that point?
is Lord.
Yeah, he's
something
really.
to that
You know
effect.
what? He's just helped me out a lot, but he helps a lot of fucking young comics here.
Yeah, he
Like,
seems
really.
like that's one of the things that I love about podcasts is you don't get. I mean, you get shows. It's entertaining, but it's not bullshit shows. Like, you actually get to know the people. It's not like they're doing a character. It's not like they're, you know, like Conan O'Brien, who's a host of a show, but you don't really get to know who he is. You know, it's completely different to where you actually get to know. And Sam, like, even when the whole Monkey Todd thing was going on, he was, you know, a very concerned person trying to help out the situation, and you can see that.
Right.
You can see.
He was very nice. Like, just to make that clear too. Like, because I met Todd and he seemed really nice. I wasn't there the night in question, but I was watching live, and it was directly after I had met him.
It's weird.
I'm not gonna lie. It's, to me, all right, let's just say it, classic fucking moment in podcast history. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Am I wrong for thinking that?
No, not at all.
That's top 5 best Death Squad moments of all time to me. I loved it. I was like, what's he doing?
That's the whole point.
This is the best line. Ready? Fucking Brody just goes, my coconut water. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. What is happening?
My memory is when he grabbed Doug Benson, the all-in-one-y thing of weed in front of him, and he took it. It's like,
what the fuck?
No, and Doug stopped him. That's the one thing that sticks out in my head. That was great. That's the whole thing. Is like you can plan all day, all night. You have the best structured show. Everything goes off flawless, and then you have something like that happen, and it be like, it's because everybody watching it knows it's like, everybody's attention peaks because they're like, whoa, this is different. This is a different wavelength than what's going on normally, and everybody's gonna be talking about this. And yeah, that whole thing was insane. There's been a lot of like moments like that where it's usually when shit goes off the rails, you know, in a good way. Because that's the thing. Well, like with
crazy
doing this,
things happen because it's live.
Yeah. Well, and you're doing it with the best type of people. Like, you get actors in there or just regular show hosts versus comedians who are used to dealing with hecklers, and they for the most part easy to go along with whatever the fuck happens. You know, they're easy riding that wave. So it's great people to have, because if that were to happen in like just a normal podcast, just regular, like if I had a situation where I had like a room where everybody was in the room doing it live, and like something like that happened, it may be something that, you know, I don't know, you couldn't recover from, or it'd just like kill it, you know, to where that they were able to just they just do their normal comic thing and just break down the situation and, you know, parse it out in their own brains.
Right.
So, for sure, that was definitely a weird moment in podcast history.
I love it.
And someday somebody's gonna be writing the book. There's gonna be trivia. There's gonna be podcast trivia. Just like there's radio. There's music. Just like there's movie trivia. There's gonna be there's gonna be the first Trivial Pursuit podcast edition. I don't know when, and who knows what'll be in it. But it's like stuff like that would be in a game like that.
I totally agree. They should do something like that at the Podfest. They should have like like some kind of audience participation, like podcast trivia game where it covers the scope of all the shows at the fest.
Yeah.
Because like some people, dude, like know all this shit. Like they're like, okay, Postal Poet's the first person that contacted me from Death Squad that knew Walking the Room.
Yeah.
But there were already cuddlers that I knew, like Death Squad. Sean Kathleen, holy shit. At Sean Kathleen, if you don't follow her, you really should. She's fucking funny as fuck. At She Is Cake, Danny Pine. These are women, so it's awesome. They're into it. They know all about it. But, a lot of the cuddlers listen to a shitload of podcasts. Like, they know fucking all of them. The Earwolf ones, the Nerdist ones, the Mental Illness Happy Hour, Paul Gilmartin one, which is pretty... I listened to that, too. I forgot to mention that one. That's really good, too. Tofop, Will Anderson Show. I like that. There's a lot of good ones. But
yeah.
Oh, my God. I just did a total, I'm stone trail off. Why am I talking about this?
About the podcast?
I'm off the rails. I'm off the rails.
Great moment in podcast history. We were talking about it in trivia.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. I forgot too. That's why I was like, wait, where did we take a right turn?
What happened there? Yeah. Wow. We just went on a little journey, didn't we?
It was nice. I brought a basket of sandwiches, but we didn't go long enough to where we got hungry. So we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's good that we packed them, though.
Yeah, just in case, Just like the Boy Scouts, always be prepared. But, like a Trivial Pursuit podcast edition is going to happen. Somebody should make that. Somebody should just make it right now. Don't put Trivial Pursuit, don't get sued. But make like a podcast trivia game. I love those trivia games.
God.
I used to be really...
what if it was just... All right, ready for this?
Oh, shit.
If it was just a Death Squad trivia game... If there was all right, here's the problem. Here's the problem with this idea. I thought of it. As I'm pitching it, I already saw the problem with this idea. All right. So you make this Death Squad board game, right? And it's all about Death Squad trivia. That's how you play. Here's the problem. All right, you're a listener. You buy the board game. Who the fuck do you play the board game with?
Here's the thing. You make it an iPhone app or a online app.
Oh, shit.
Red Band gets somebody to design that for his site. You pay $1 to play, and or just free. He could just have it for free, and that would just be like people would just live on that. Oh man, you can make a lot of money. That idea is worth a lot of money right there. That's a lot.
Okay. What about this idea? All right, Death Squad action figures and the Ice House action playset.
Yeah, totally. That's sold. You get the little microphones, and then because the thing when I went to the Ice House and I got to go in the Death Squad studio, seeing it on the live or seeing video of it versus just walking in, just the same with meeting people in real life. It's a totally different perspective. So just seeing what the actual layout would be in the Death Squad studio, and then just the layout, although that would probably be bad just for crazy fans that would want to break in and sneak in and stuff. They'd have the whole layout. But that would be cool to do a replica of just the room.
There's often incidences
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Well, since I know that since I've been there, I know that one door that's just outside. So it's and they leave that open sometimes, but yeah.
Shh, right.
Yeah, sorry. So as I was saying, it's wait a minute.
Way too much.
No, but there's always the nice thing is that now there's always security, so it's you don't have to worry about that as much. Now
that we got that full-on armed guard militia, now that we've hired them.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Snipers all over the place.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah. The thing is, Rogan knows a lot of MMA guys that need part-time work, so...
Right, yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah. But that would be... Seriously, that would probably cost more money to make those toys, but I could see people buying that. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it would be completely unaffordable to try to
Yeah.
produce those. But your idea is actually amazing. And
The
that would be
game,
really,
online Trivial Pursuit game, and throw a few ads on there. They could just get somebody to program that real quick. I don't know.
oh man.
I need to talk to Red Band.
An app would be good, period. Like, even if it was like just a naughty show app, just something,
Yeah.
you know.
Apps are very, very good, and you can outsource. You can get bids on those. Go to like elance.com. You can type up. I was looking to do that with because I changed the structure of the network, and I was going to outsource it because I didn't really know how to do it. And I got bids on it from like all over the world. You get bids on people that are professionals that do this just freelance stuff, and you know, they can just design it all, and you're good to go. But I ended up figuring it out myself, so I saved myself some money. But I have plans to use that for future things. One of which may be an iPhone app. So you can do that. He can do that. Somebody can do that. That's possible.
We should do that.
Yeah, for sure. That would be.
I want to say something before I forget. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, though.
Uh-huh.
I just want to say that I met Mike Maxwell last weekend, and if he's listening, hi.
He actually should be. I think. Well, I don't
it's
know.
so funny because I saw his tattoo. He has a Boston Terrier tattoo, and I have a Boston Terrier.
Uh-huh.
And I saw it in person. I was like totally like amazed by it. And he's like, I sent this to you on Twitter, and like I couldn't remember him doing that. I took a picture of his leg, right? When I got home and I looked at the picture, like seeing it on the picture, it's like, oh my god, I have seen this.
Yeah. It's
like,
weird to see things.
It's so crazy, right? When it translates over. I also met at To the Sin Bin.
I don't
know
who
that
is.
person.
No.
I think his name is Dan.
Oh, Dan. Of course. No, I don't know.
It was
who that is.
crazy. I don't
But Dan
know. Yeah.
seems like an awesome guy. Yeah, I totally. That's the one thing about working a fucking day job is I miss out on cool shit, and I really wanted to go because I just gotten back from Vegas, and then there was the Death Squad shows, and then the Naughty show in San Diego, and I couldn't go.
Yeah, I remember you were asked because we were supposed to be there, but then we couldn't because things were getting. There was all these issues that had to be worked out. And they went today. I didn't go, but they were there.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, the Vegas thing. Did you watch that? Did you watch it? Did you watch that? I didn't get a chance to watch the live Ustream. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
They tried to start at a certain point, and then they started 2 hours later, and then it kind of was choppy. But it was the first run, so they're pretty much just figuring out how to do this on location. But the next week should go a lot smoother. Hopefully I'll be down there. I really want to go down there, over there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where would that be?
I think it's over.
Across. Want to go over to Nevada.
Are you guys coming back to San Diego anytime soon?
Oh, I don't know. I hope so. It was really, really awesome. It was really awesome. A lot of people were saying that worked at the club were saying like that was the biggest show. Like the Death Squad show is the biggest show they've had so far because it's new.
Yeah.
The American Comedy Club.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, they'll get us back down. That'd be awesome. It was really cool. I'd never been to San Diego before.
It's nice.
It was an amazing time.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was nice.
Sweet. Well.
Yes.
Yes.
Justin,
let's.
How am I doing? Did I do okay, Justin?
You did great. Appreciate your time. Most definitely.
I believe you. Oh, guys.
No, definitely. Thanks
This
for coming
is
on.
a treat because I am such a fan of podcasts, and I feel like we're having a really good one right now.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh good. Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we wrap this up?
Well, yeah, let's quit while we're ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah,
ahead.
right?
It's like 3 hours later.
Yeah. Well, we can always do another one. It's not like this is the last one ever.
Oh my God, you're right. They're happening all the time.
They are. It's insane. All right. Well, Vicky, where can everybody find you online? In addition to that, you can also find Vicky on IMDb.
Ooh.
I just wanted to throw that out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, please check me out. Like, if you actually care, that'd be awesome. I worked on some things you might have actually heard of, which is kind of crazy. Okay, you can follow me on Twitter at Vicky with a Y Pezza with 2 Z's. You can find me on The Naughty Show Monday nights 9, ustream.tv/redband, or check out The Naughty Show Tumblr. Maybe my greatest accomplishment ever.
Woo!
So far. Wait till the next episode. Imagine like I like fucking win an Oscar next week somehow, even though I never did anything to do with a movie that would be worthy of one, and the Oscars aren't in July. And like you have this interview and like something crazy happens. That would be
Totally.
the best.
That's the whole reason I tried to get you on this Sunday.
I knew
Just to
it.
make sure.
I knew it.
Just in case.
Guys, I don't want to brag, but I did win a Telly Award for 2004's Freehold Hyundai's Happy Holidays ad. So,
Nice.
I don't want to brag or anything, but I do have a fucking statue on my shelf. And here's
Boom,
a bonus
Ray.
treat.
I know.
I'm gonna fucking, after when we wrap this up right now, I'm gonna find that fucking commercial. I'm gonna tweet it at you guys.
Fuck yeah.
So you can see the type of masterpiece that I'm responsible for.
I want to see what a whole Jeep giveaway looks like.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, what?
I want to see what a whole Jeep giveaway looks like. For sure.
Freehold.
Fucking awesome. So, Naughty Show, Tumblr, Twitter.
You can friend me on Facebook if you want. I mean, like, go as crazy as you would like.
Do you have
there.
your own website, or is it just social media?
I don't have a website. Like, I should get one probably. It's probably getting there, right? It's coming.
Sure. It's coming. Everything is. It's in the queue. It's ready to. It's like Tetris. There's different
Right.
things, and you're just trying to fit them all together, and hopefully the big long one doesn't fuck you up.
I know.
Oh,
Sometimes I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, it's all like the
said.
S blocks. S blocks.
Everything's stacked.
Yeah,
Oh, those things.
yeah.
I know.
It's fucking crazy. Sweet. All right, Justin, where you at, son?
You can find me at, well, let's see, Twitter. I am Justin King 1. That's Justin King and the number 1 at the end. You can also find me at jkdesigns.co. That's my blog/portfolio site. That's where you can find my shit.
Sweet. You can find me at Ray Taylor on Twitter and all my shit at inspireddisorder.com. And then you can also subscribe to the Inspired Disorder podcast on iTunes. Check it out on Stitcher. Subscribe, rate, review, do all that shit. You can also check out the Inspired Disorder Collective and do all the same things on iTunes and soon Stitcher. Since I updated how everything works, Stitcher is behind. I need to figure out how to make that work again. But iTunes is all there, and then you can always go to their all their shows are on Stitcher individually anyway. So you can do that. And then of course this podcast, you can do that. And as always, thank you again for being on the show, Vicky. We'd love to have you on again.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
I really
It's been so
apologize for Justin talking so much. He usually doesn't talk this much, and it's kind of embarrassing, but it's, one of those things when you plan everything out, sometimes Justin talks and people listen.
I
So.
didn't want to say anything, but
Nobody
it
did.
was a little out of control.
Nobody
Just reel it back, Justin, please.
God, I'm so fucking sorry. Shit.
Justin was the Vicky of this podcast, and
Yeah.
I was the.
I was the I don't know, let's see what I was. I was like the overseer, just making sure everything was flowing smoothly, things are staying on
Right.
topic.
Yeah.
If you guys got off topic, I was going to speak up and be like, no, Ray, shut up.
And then when it
it
gets when it gets real serious, then he'll just disconnect. He's like, "Oh, sorry guys, I'm gone. I'm left. I'm out of here." No, Justin, come back. All right.
This is completely off the rails. I'm checking out.
Yeah, it's like, fuck
I
this
get
shit.
It, but I get it. I do. Save yourself.
It's my internet signal, I swear.
Yeah. All right. Have a great night,
Thank you
everybody.
so much.
All right. Peace out.
Thank you. Peace out.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast. Embedded signals within this podcast have reprogrammed your natural thinking patterns. Side effects may include lack of inhibitions, erectile dysfunction, anal leakage, transcendental communication with beings from 4 of the 7 primary dimensions. In the event of a tear in space-time, please keep your hands down and feet together. Any loss of life or limbs due to interdimensional travel is not the responsibility of this podcast.